What is up? Welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we're gonna teach you how to modify your headlights to make it look like this. Stick around, you're gonna like this. So for those of you that have followed me for a while, I have made a video prior of this about that I was gonna modify my SDI light, but I ended up having a bunch of issues on the way. It wasn't issues per se, it was more I just did not feel comfortable modifying the SDI lights. I ended up popping them open, ended up working them out and making sure that everything was ready to go. But then I realized that my C lights were a little too big for it, as well as I needed to cut some stuff because the SDI has the projector sideways when you turn the car on and also when you drive, which is driving responsive, or however that's called. And so I didn't really want to break that or have that functionality removed. As well as like when it would move, I was afraid that it was gonna pop the C light out and then it was just gonna fall off, and it was just gonna be ugly, right? So I ended up just scrapping that plan. I did spend a day trying to open it and frustrated trying to make a C light the same shape that I had it, and I just was so sad. But then I thought to myself, like, what if I just build the BRZ lights, and that's the result. So in today's episode, I'm gonna show you step by step how to modify it. Big shout out to our sponsors for this episode, which is Next Level Neo. He was able to provide us with all the products that we have showcasing, which are the hexagonal C light, the projector, edge projector with a tonai inside, as well as the C light that came in the shape of a strip, and I was able to modify it to make it look however shape I wanted. So without any further ado, stick around, it's gonna be a good one. Let's go. As I mentioned before, I had opened previously the SDI headlight, so I didn't really show how the beginning of this was, but I'm gonna show a clip of what it is. So what you do is you put your oven at 220 degrees Fahrenheit and you bake the lights for 10 minutes. It's just a little hot enough for you to be able to pry it open. As you can see here, I have the SDI light, which is where I showed the video. I was gonna document exactly how it's done. As I mentioned, it didn't end up working out, so I had to move on to the BRZ lights, but I didn't record that part because I thought I was going to be using this part. But so here it is. It was a 220 for 10 minutes, and then once that's hot, then you take it out of the oven and you follow by removing your screws, however many screws there are on the housing, and you're gonna use this tool, which I also got from Next Level Neo from his Amazon list. It is a prying tool where it, instead of like pliers where you press it and it just presses in, this one presses, it pries out. It's very handy actually. It worked out really well, and I was able to open them without any warping or any issues with the light. Obviously I used a screwdriver to just get the tiny little bit open so I can insert the point of the pliers. So yep. Once you get the lens out of the housing, you may want to set it down somewhere where you will not touch it. In my case, I didn't really care. Well, I did care at first because I didn't know I was gonna get new lenses, but then I was pointed out that there are lenses for sale for my headlights, so I just got new ones. But usually the custom is just put it on a box where it's going to be sealed, and you're gonna be not touching it, so that way there's no dust on it and everything looks okay. Alright, so to not bore you, I have taken apart these piece here. So it is 4 bolts, actually 2 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 out of the housing. 6 actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 on top. And then what you do is you take the clips off 1 and 2, and I think 1 on the side, and then this piece comes out, which is the piece that is chrome. And then this is the part with the C light, right? Now the C light is the reflector, and the LED, I guess the LEDs are these. And yeah, so let's continue. I'll lower it by using a Dremel. Because in my case, this housing had not, it wasn't like a light, conventional light where there were LEDs underneath or some sort of strip behind. This was actually funny because I've never seen this before. Not that I open it often, but it was just funny to even find out. But there's two LEDs on the housing that are on each end of the tube that shine the white light for your daytime running, which I thought it was bizarre because how could two LEDs light up a bar? But it does. So what I ended up doing was just carving a channel so I can insert that sea light. I had to custom make that sea light, but you'll see it in a minute.
First page singing under the moon. You and me together, it felt so good. But then you made me feel blue when you ran away with somebody new. Look, you're at my door, saying I look nice. Can't you see I'm happy now? I don't miss your lies. I've been moving on, I've been cold outside, and I don't need nobody else to live in paradise.
Alright, so I have finally finished carving the path for the LED lights that are gonna take place. So I didn't speak too much about it, so the LED that was previous was really not an LED strip, was more of a two LEDs that would flow through a plastic tube, which I think I like it because when I put the strip, it's going to be so cool flowing through that tube. But so just for illustration purposes, you can see here the two pieces of LED that flow out to the tube. Now, when it's all said and done in here, we're gonna have an actual strip going in on the back of it, and then we're going to be flowing it like this. And maybe I can just plug it in right now and show you guys. I did a preview, but I had to clip it, so I'm using a different controller. I'm not using the actual Ghost module, but this is the same plug. It flows the same, it does the same purpose. But so basically, it does this. So like this, the light will come out like this. And the plastic piece will flow something like this. So you can see here we have a nice solid LED diffuse light that can be in multiple types. So if I change the mode to RGB, oh, I'm missing it. I'm moving it. Hold on. There you go. As you can see here, the mode is different, and this will be a little different with the Ghost module, but you get the point. It's supposed to be somewhat like this. There you go. Alright, so I'm back and I have done a little bit of, I don't want to bore you guys with all the details that go into it, but so it's time for the tonai to go in. And I have found a way that removing one of the screws from the projector, which in this case is right here, I will be able to put the bracket. I have bent the bracket a little bit so that way it projects and to project it downwards, so that way it doesn't go to the sky, but rather goes to the floor. So I have to flip it, so let's do that.
Do what you want when you're here with me.
Okay, so I have finally soldered everything together. I did my best possible job for somebody who has not done it before. I mean, I have done small things and here and there, but so this is what it looks like. So there's the seal light. It was broken into, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 pieces. But so that is when it's on. Let's change the modes. And I'm purposely not using the ghost module. I'm just using something to troubleshoot. But this is what it looks like when it's on show mode. And let's turn it off so I can show you guys how I wired it. So give me a second right here. Basically just held it with tape right now, but so this is what I ended up doing. The sections are one section, then I broke it into pieces to make it a little curvy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 pieces. Now this completes the whole seal light. I will probably end up doing some like something to hold it in place, but so far so good. I'm pretty excited with how it came out. And so with the vessel, this is how it looked like. I mean, maybe I can just get closer here, but so that's what it would look like. And just for illustration purposes, with the halo, it would look like this. Yeah, I still got some work to do, but progress. I love that. Alright, so I'm back. It's another day, but I had to show you guys this because I've been waiting for one more surprise. So big shout out again to Next Level Neil. He hooked me up again and it's starting to look fantastic. So I have gone above and beyond and gotten a edged projector for this build. And now the tonai fits perfectly fine. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because the tonai can actually break if it's HID because he melts it, and I want to take it an LED projector, and it looks really good. So check it out. That looks so good, so good. I almost want to just power it up and just see what it does, but I don't want to get anxious, so let's continue to do this. So it was very easy, very straightforward. So he ended up making me a, sorry about the jumping, I'm trying to put the camera down. But so what ended up happening was he ended up asking me to send him my projector, which is the OEM. As you can see, it's like super like weird looking, and it's the HID ballast plug there on the back, and I didn't want to do that because of that same issue that I was mentioning. So he went ahead and I asked him to hook me up, and he made me a set of brackets that would fit just perfectly fine on my build. So as you can see here, I have the edge projector, it's LEDs, it comes with its driver, and then from the driver you just plug it into power and ground. And so as you can see here, the bracket itself, it just goes right to the mount of where the OEM projector would have them. And so this is the passenger side. As I mentioned to you guys, I got the driver side already installed with the tonai. I mean, I didn't really want to get into the details of how to install the tonai because it's very straightforward. All you do is you find a a screw somewhere, and you screw the actual bracket into the plug. So as you can see here, I'm sure you guys can see, but this little bracket here, that is the tonai bracket, and I ended up switching one of the bolts because the other one was too small, so it can go right through the bracket, through the main bracket for the tonai, then the bracket for the projector, and then the bracket for the actual housing. So it actually is like, I don't know, I want to say this big, and so I was able to just see it, and it looks so good. But let's go one step further and put the actual housing back. Now keep in mind that this is already plugged in. I have all the plugs set and done for the actual LED lights, for the C light to be RGB light. So let's just go ahead and put it together. That looks so good, so good. Check this out. Oh my god. Put the light on so you can see. So as you can see, the housing is there. Although the projector, wait a minute. Oh boy. The projector is smaller. Oh boy. Yeah, that might be an issue. Alright, well, one little hiccup to check out, so let's continue with the build. Alright, so here we are back, and I am reading some information about the wiring. But so as far as I understand, so blue one is the high beam, and that's going to go to the high beam connector to the projector. Red one and black one will be to the regular projector, and then this one, which is the green one, which would be for the one that we're gonna tap into for the DRL. Yeah, so the way it works is I'm gonna have to clip it, probably this one, but let's get going on the wiring now. Okay, so to go in detail, the tonai was mounted to the bracket. As you can see, I mounted with its bracket right there with different bolts. The tonai is pointing down so it can push the light down, and then through the back we have the input and output for the projector, for the tonai, and then from the projector we have the plug with 4 pins and the 2 cables that come out, which are for the high beam, they're polarity insensitive, meaning that you can plug into either one of this two. Then this one is the driver for the projector, and this one plugs into the plug, and these two goes to the low beam. So just so you know, I'm trying to do the breakdown. This is the second light. I have the remove. This is the projector. The projector was here, and then when I remove this, then now the bracket will basically just sit flush there. So it's coming along. I'm onto the second one. The first one is done, but let's go. All right, so the projector is in place, and for those of you that are building a set of BRZ lights, so here's how the breakdown of colors are. So we have the red and black, which is regular low beam that used to go to the HID. No longer that's the case, so that goes straight to the projector, red and black. Then you have the blue and orange, which are your high beam, and as I mentioned, these projectors are polarity insensitive, so you can just plug in one to each whatever you want. And then the blue one, I double tap for the tonai to stop the current whenever it's power on. If you have high beams, it will stop it so the heat doesn't damage the tonai. And then this green one will be your DSLR, or no, not DSLR, sorry. It will be your DRL, day running lights, and that will be plugged into your C-Light RGB lights. And to test that this is actually working, I'm going to right now I have plugged it into the car, and we're gonna make sure that the projector powers up. Ready, set. Ooh, projector and high beam. And it works. So we have actually proven that the cables, the blue one is the high beam and the green one is the low beam. And yep, let's continue with this. It's getting really nice. Let's go. today's another day. Yesterday I pulled a really late night, but I had to go back and change certain things because the cables that I bought from Amazon. So I ended up buying Amazon cables, JST cables, but the cables were really not that great. They ended up not making good contact, so it was like flickering. So I ended up having to get the ones that I had in stock. I had 3 of these, which I ended up using for the plugs, but now thankfully it works as it should. So we're gonna fire it up and we're gonna show you guys how it looks. All right, you guys ready? Let's go. So as you can see, the tonai shows in my hand, and I really like how the hexagonal halo came out, and then the sea light. I decided to keep that there. I ordered some part that I'm thinking maybe like a semicircle that can go behind it, so that way you can't see any cables. But at the same time, I don't know if it's gonna melt it, so I don't know what I want to do. But that's how it looks, so super excited. And because this build was coming along so well, I couldn't just let it go to waste and put the old lenses, so I ended up just getting a new set from eBay, and it looks really good with the new ones. Okay, so this is the most important part I want to say, because a lot of people complain about failure on this, but so I have gotten from, once again, Next Level Neo, the sealer. I think it's called butyl, and this butyl is very important that you, since these lights have already been open and it had some of the glue butyl in there, I ended up just using some of it and stretching it somewhat, whatever, to the consistency of the hole that was in the vessel, so that way there's enough of the sealant for the light lens and it didn't come out of the housing. But you have to be very careful, make sure you don't leave any bubbles or pockets or pieces missing in between in the housing, so whenever you put it back on and you put the screws in and everything back together, their potential of leaks will be 0. So just want to stress that out in case you are thinking about doing this. I did my research about it, and I was told also that this is important. So once you've placed all the butyl on the path or the little channel, you would want to use your hands and put the lens back on into the channel, but make sure that you know exactly where it goes and lines it up with the tabs and where the screws are going to be going, so that way it's just easy to just screw the screws into it once you're done, and it sits exactly where it's supposed to be. Loading the app right now, and then I have them saved up in here because I obviously tested this before sealing them. Let's select which car we want to do, and then I believe here is where we select Bluetooth. Ready? Alright, here we go. Whoa. Check it out. So this is a long process of headlights. I have done from opening to stripping the chrome, then carving some of the actual path for the sea light to go through, also diffusing further the little sea light tube, adding the halo, adding the hex, the demonite, the connection, the cabling, and finally getting new lenses, because I mean I wasn't going to use this, right? I mean, how ugly would it be if I use this little yellowish lens? So I figured that if I'm spending so much on this set of headlights, just might as well just do it right? So I did, and it looks amazing. So big shout out to Next Level Neo and all the help and every guidance he did. It came out really nice. If you guys have and want to buy a set of these components for you to do your headlights, as you can see, I had previously no experience whatsoever on this set or creation of headlights, but indeed I checked out his videos and I was able to. So it is now I'm able now to say that I have modified my first headlights and they look really good. So I'm super excited to have seen them and have been able to do that. So yeah, if you like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, leave a comment below and say what you liked, what you didn't like, and if you have any questions, obviously leave it below. I also have a coupon code, I'm gonna list it below, for Next Level Neo. Again, big shout out to Next Level Neo that they sponsored this episode and with my headlights, the components obviously, the headlights I had. But yeah, so catch you guys in the next one. Peace.